Hi, my name is Nathan Medina,
I'm Renee Salcida.
I'm Natalie Calderon.
and today we're going to talk about Live Nation and moving forward. So a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today is the economies and diseconomies of scope as a result of Live Nation's expansion in the past couple years. And we decided to go with Rapinoe's approach, and we have our own strategic suggestions we'll talk about later, as well as relevant facts. So first we'll talk about economies of scope. So the first economy of scope, what we're going to talk about is in-house ticketing. So basically, Live Nation moved away from Ticketmaster and started selling tickets on their own website. And what this did was remove the $100 million fee they would receive every year just from Ticketmaster, as well as direct traffic to their website. And then the next economy of scope is the studio venues that Live Nation created. So there are 120, and it creates an economy of scope because they can create recorded music from the live music and then sell it, which is an example of related diversification. Another economy of scope is with the acquiring of Concert Productions International Incorporated. Basically, this company runs tours and produces tours for bands and artists. And this takes away from Live Nation so that they can focus on some of their more core competencies, like selling tickets, as talked about earlier. And this also helped them produce 16,000 different concerts. And the last economy of scope we'll talk about is Live Nation TV. So Live Nation created a program where people who weren't at the concerts can go to their website to watch different videos. And this, again, attracts a whole different market of people to their website. Yes, and that's economies of scope.
So merchandising companies and the 360 deals were an indication of diseconomies of scope. So this was because Live Nation added more than one firm or operations. As Nate explained, the tickets, the Live Nation TV, all of those different operations, adding on to that, they diversified more. And because they diversified, they also gained flexibility, which also ties in with the lack of focus from diversifying. With the 360 deals, they didn't get much positive feedback from it. So from the analysis they were talking about, people or artists would promote their albums. Now they promote their albums for their tours, whereas before they were promoting their tours through their albums. Or is
That's good.
it's good? Okay, yeah. It switched, and it wasn't always like that. So this is where it was a diseconomies of scope. Also, because of the loss of focus, they decided to branch out and do other different operations, which didn't give them a chance to really focus on their core competencies. The other diseconomies of scope was that there was little room for growth. So the graph that's shown, it's not as an indication of the exact case analysis, but this is just a rough graph of the phases through this. So right now Live Nation was at their maturity stage, and after the maturity stage is when it starts to decline. And in the case analysis, it discusses the sale price dropping.
So after looking into these economies and diseconomies of scope, we decided to take Rapinoe's approach to cut costs rather than to expand. And from that, we made our own strategic suggestion.
So our strategic suggestion is to downsize the 360 deals. This was, as he stated, Rapinoe's approach. We decided to downsize the 360 deals, not completely, just to a certain extent, because they were working with numerous artists already. This gives them room to grow, as well as to allow stock prices to rise than they were already. And then the way we came about this specific suggestion, we could have went about it different ways, but after discussing the pros and the cons, it wouldn't be ideal to expand just because throughout the 360 deals, that's what they did, is they expanded and it didn't really work out in their favor.
And then facts that say expanding the company would lead to more discounted scope. So as mentioned already, this 360 deals was intended to benefit Live Nation, but instead it made a downfall. And I'll explain more about that in the next slide, specifically what situations led those downfalls. And the alternative view was Live Nation's strategy to connect more with music business rather than focusing on booking live concerts. And it was also stated in the case analysis that an economic slowdown was a good idea to expand from its current leading position into the music entertainment. But also Cole reported that he was intended to make specific amount of deals by the end of 2008. So some relevant facts were the Madonna deal. So the Live Nation invested about $13 million to sign Madonna, and with that, Live Nation received 10% of the touring revenue, while Madonna received 90%. Then you have 50% of the merchandise, 50-50, and then about 30% was given to Live Nation in terms of anything revenue coming from promotions and licensing, such as clothing, perfumes, stuff like that. So that kind of ties into a lot with diseconomy of scope, because they thought that investing with putting their money in with Madonna would be able to increase their Live Nation's ticket sales, concert promotions, but they were only really losing money because they were only receiving little portions of what the contract was with Madonna. In terms of technology takeover, so start off with cassettes taking over records, and then from that, cassettes or CDs taking over cassettes, and then from there you had MP3 players taking over CDs. So technology was increasing. Then you had Apple coming out with softwares. During that time, people much have rather pay for music and share it online rather than buying concert tickets or going to see a concert live. So in that case, Live Nation lost sales in 2008 by, what was it? Oh yeah, so their sales went down by a lot of money in terms of billions.